I'm Vanessa Hollins. I will be your mistress of ceremony for this program. And I'd like to thank Mercy Manor for having me. And for all of you for giving me your prompt attention. Thank you. Well, I'm going to give you just a little information as to why we are here. You know why we're here, but this is my job. I'm supposed to give you a little information, so that's what I'm going to do. And then we're going to proceed and move the program right along. Is that okay? All right, great. Mercy Manor, as you know, was a dream. It was a dream of Sister Jean Beaupay. She was a visionary. She had the gift of making a dream come alive. Because she had that gift, all of you are seated here today. She was a chaplain at Montgomery County Jail that afforded her the opportunity to see women day in and day out in their current situations, which led her to dream about what life would be like once they were released. These women didn't have any place to go. After thinking about that and pondering about that, she talked about her dream with other women. And you do know that women can get things done. I'm not discounting you men, but women just know how to do it. When she talked about it with other women, they talked about it with some more women. And what began was the birth of a dream, Mercy Manor. Now, I'm not going to go into the history about Mercy Manor. If you're here, you work with Mercy Manor in some way or another. You're connected. But you do know that Sister Jean knew this. She knew that spiritual programming, coupled with structure, would give women what they needed to be reintroduced back into the community, to reunify families, to restore their lives. She thought, what can we give them? And they provide so many wonderful services, which you will hear about today, that they utilize to get back in the world. Give these women a round of applause. Now, before we go on with the program, I just want to read some staggering statistics to you. They were staggering to me. And I want you to know that Mercy Manor is a model for other programs in the city of Dayton, in the city of Chicago, in the city of New York, in the city of St. Louis, in the city of Mercy Manor is a model for women to reinvent themselves and be brand new in their communities. So we thank you, Mercy Manor, as Mr. Rogers used to say when I was a girl. And you do know this a long time ago. He would say, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And because of Mercy Manor, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Thank you. Now I'm fumbling through this book. I'm looking for statistics. Here they are. Okay, it says, fact, 67% of the women moved to permanent housing. Fact, 75% of the women who obtain employment while at Mercy Manor remain employed. Fact, 52% of the women initiate their educational plan within 4 years. Fact, 70% of the women remain clean and sober. Today, Mercy Manor, we salute you. Now, in keeping with the program, I'm going to bring Mrs. Rebecca Brown, and she's going to give you a welcome. Give her a round of applause, please.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good day in the neighborhood. On behalf of the Director of Mercy Manor, Mrs. Barbara Hudson Banner, and the Board of Directors of Mercy Manor, I welcome each of you this afternoon to our annual luncheon. This is indeed an honor to have you in our midst. We appreciate you sharing with the women of Mercy Manor your time, contributions, and prayers. Just you being here has shown you have the same feelings for Mercy Manor as we do. We hope that you enjoy yourself, and we look forward to seeing you next year and the next year. And we want to just say, I'm glad. I want you to say, I'm glad I came. You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next, we're going to have the invocation by the Honorable Reverend Dr. P.E. Henderson, Jr., pastor of Corinthian Baptist Church. Following the invocation, lunch will be served. See you later.
Let us stop eating. Every eye closed and every head bowed as we give thanks. God of all blessings, source of life, giver of all grace, we praise you for the splendor and magic of the moment. We thank you for Mercy Manor, the services it provides to the women in our community. We thank you for the staff and volunteers who offer themselves for this ministry. We pray your blessings upon this ministry that Mercy Manor may continue to perform the vision it was created to be. Bless us all as we gather here. Bless the food we are about to receive. Bless those whose labor stirred in unseen fields in order that we may eat. Bless those whose skills have brought us the crops to feed us. Bless those hands prepared the meal. And as we eat and fellowship together, may we remember those in other places who are hungry, even as we are nourished. In thanksgiving for Mercy Manor, in thanksgiving for this meal, in thanksgiving for this day, health and strength, we praise you, we praise you. In the name of him whom to know is life eternal, Jesus the Christ, we pray. Amen. Amen.
Good afternoon. I
having a wonderful time. My name is Sherry Walton, and I started off as a volunteer at Mercy Manor, and I'm now employed there. And as part of my employment, I have been asked to sing. So, you know, when you work for Mercy Manor, you do what needs to be done. And when you're a child of God, you do what He tells you to do. And so that's where we are. So I hope this blesses you. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Summer, winter, springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. There is pardon for sin, and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine and 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Thank you, Sherry, for that beautiful selection. It takes a lot of diligence to stand before people to sing, and a lot of due diligence to stand before people and sing without a musical accompaniment. So give her a hearty round of applause. We're going to have a special recognition and the State of Mercy Manor by Miss Barbara Hudson Banner, Executive Director.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm waiting on some beautiful ladies to come up front to greet you. Come on, ladies. That's right. Come on, ladies. You can do it. Come on, ladies. Miss Middleton. Milton? Aren't you beautiful? That's what I thought, Miss Coffee. Let's get these.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Miss Care, and I am a peer supporter of Mercy Manor. Miss Linda, too. We would just like to recognize some of the prior members of Mercy Manor, residents, and alumni of Mercy Manor. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, my name is Geraldine Wood, and I am alumni of Mercy Manor.
Hi, my name is Janice Staley. I'm alumni. I graduated 4 years ago.
My name is Melissa Smith, and I'm currently a resident of Mercy Manor.
Hey y'all, I'm Tammy Davidson. I'm an alumni. I graduated 5 years in May.
Hi everybody, my name is Regina Counts and I'm as well alumni of Mercy Manor.
Good afternoon, y'all. I'm Angela, and I'm a resident of Mercy Manor.
Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Sullivan. I'm also a resident of Mercy Manor. Good afternoon. My name is Heather McCoy. I am a resident at Mercy Manor. Hi, I'm Jennifer Hack. I'm the first resident at Mercy Manor.
Hi, my name is Vicki Lynn, and I graduated in November of 2012 from Mercy Manor, and it saved my life.
Thank you, ladies. Let's give it another round of applause.
And I am also a graduate of Mercy Manor. I graduated in 2001.
I also graduated Mercy Manor. I graduated 2000.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. They've done an excellent job. And my two house managers, I just wanted to give them kudos because they are hard-working women. They work past the time that they work at any time. I call them and say something's going on. They get in their cars and they're at the house in a hot minute. They don't ask any questions, but they're there on the spot, and they're very dedicated to Mercy Manor, and they make Mercy Manor. They are the backbone of Mercy Manor. They're what keeps Mercy Manor going. I appreciate that. I wanted to thank everybody for coming out and participating in our annual Founders Day Luncheon and fundraiser. Today we are celebrating 26 years of service for this ministry for women. I would like to begin by acknowledging our diamond, gold, and silver donors and sponsors. Diamond sponsors, Miss Anita Moore, Sisters of the Precious Blood, and in memory of Thomas Scheidenberger and Mrs. Jacqueline and G. Funk. Let's give them a round of applause. Our gold sponsors is Bob Ross Auto Group, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Dayton Alumni Chapter, West Dayton Caravan. All right, let's give them a round of applause. Our silver is Church Mutual Insurance Company Foundation, Greater St. John's Missionary Baptist Church. On behalf of Mercy Manor Board of Trustees and myself, we would like to express our sincere gratitude and heartfelt thanks to all our sponsors, donors, and participants for your commitment to Mercy Manor. We thank you all for your generous contributions in helping to make this event successful. Thank you. All of the past Mercy Manor board members, please stand. No, we got someone. Our present board members, please stand. Mrs. Sandra Colley, our board president, and Mrs. Joan Brown, our vice president, sends their regrets that they were unable to be here today. Mrs. Colley is recovering from surgery, and Mrs. Brown is with her husband, Reverend Brown, who is recovering from surgery as well. Let's keep them in our prayers. May I please, well, we've already had our staff and our stand up. Let me have our volunteers from Mercy Manor. If you would please stand. With Mercy Manor. Mrs. Jackson, Rena Jackson, has been with Mercy Manor since it began 26 years. Dedicated with her. And Mrs. Franklin's been here 10 plus years. She does our Bible study for the ladies in the house. If I could have the Founders Day Committee please stand. Okay, I have to call you guys out. Donna Wright, Lisa Wright, Sherry, the board is part of it. Al and Peggy Matt, Deb Dunlop. I made this with you didn't stand up, so I'm sorry. Let's give them a round of applause. At this time, I want to share a little bit of information about Mercy Manor. We are a ministry for women with histories of homelessness, abuse, mental health, incarceration, alcohol, and drug addiction. We serve the wives, mothers, and sisters of our families and friends in this community. They come to Mercy Manor from treatment facilities, hospital, behavioral health centers, criminal justice, and shelters. The women come to us are women who are serious about their recovery. They work with the reunification with their families and reestablishing themselves back into the community. We provide a safe, spiritual, sober living environment with in-house recovery peer support. We assist them with their medical needs, spiritual experience, life skill training, establishing and reaching their short and long-term goals. We have in-house grief recovery counseling, in-house AA and NA meetings, and financial management assistance. Recently, we have been blessed to partnership with Access Counseling Services. They provide the ladies with Mercy Manor with on-site case management, group, and one-on-one therapy. We also collaborate with other agencies in the community for service, like the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services, Care Source, Montgomery County Reentry Program, Bruner Literacy Center, Grace United Methodist Church, and the Wesley Center's Dayton Cook Program, the Food Pantry, and many churches and organizations. We are affiliated with the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services Access to Recovery Program. In addition, we are in partnership with the Montgomery County Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Services, also known as the Adamus Board. Though we will continue to be affiliated with the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, Access to Recovery Grant has come to an end this month. And while we continue to receive funds from the Adamus Board, we must provide the majority of the funds needed to retain the ministry for women. Since the program began in 1992, more than 300 women have been served. 67% of these women have established safe housing, remain clean and sober, reunited with their families, and are employed or enrolled into a secondary institution or a training program. And in closing, I want to establish that Mercy Manor is a unique program. We provide hope for broken women. We have successful ministry for women for over 26 years. And we'd like to thank everyone for all your prayers and supports that you've given us in this past year. And it was with the grace of God and your assistance that we made it through yet another year to providing a safe, spiritual, alcohol, and drug-free living environment for women with histories of homelessness, abuse, mental health, incarceration, and alcohol and drug addiction. And as we continue to seek new grants and other means of funding and donation, we need your continued support to retain this worthwhile ministry for women. Mrs. Sophia Johnson is one of our board members, and she will provide you with more information for the end of this program on how that you can assist us with this. Again, thank you for coming out and helping to make our luncheon a successful event. Thank you. We're going to have a testimonial from our graduate. So if she would please come up, Ms. Jerlyn Wood.
Have somebody go in.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jerlyn Wood, like I said, and I'm an alumni from Mercy Manor. I just recently moved from Mercy Manor, which I stayed 6 months. I'd like to share with you how I became to be at Mercy Manor. I'm an addict. For 33 years I've been an addict. I used over half of my life crack cocaine. I have 4 children. They're adult children now, and 11 grandbabies. I don't know, crack had took everything from me. Mind, body, and spirit. And when I got tired, I went to seek help. So I went to treatment, Woodhaven. I stayed there for the 90 days of treatment to learn about what the drug was doing to me, my mind, my body, and my spirit. I graduated from Woodhaven, and I wanted to seek further help because I knew I needed more help. I couldn't just leave Woodhaven and that would be it. I knew I needed some more structure. I knew I needed some more time away from the dope. So I seek going to Mercy Manor. I also need to say I was in Mercy Manor before in 92. Yeah. And I was one of the first women they took that didn't come from jail. I stayed there 6 months and I graduated, but I ended up going back out. You know. When I got to Mercy Manor, even though I said I wanted more structure, I was rebellious. You know, I kept saying my age. I was 56 years old. Why I gotta do this? Why I gotta do that? Today I know I needed to do what they wanted me to do, because it helped me. Mercy Manor, like I said, I stayed there 6 months. I needed more structure. I needed more time away from the dope. And plus I didn't have anywhere to go when I left treatment because I gave up my apartment and my job. Well, Mercy Manor helped me build my relationships with my kids today. My daughters actually talked to me and shared things with me today. I have 2 sons that are locked up today, and I'm actually able to be there for them. You know, writing letters. I never could do that in my addiction. I can write letters and I receive their phone calls today. Mercy Manor got me going to church again. I was going to church when I was in my addiction, but I wasn't there. I was just showing up. We had to go to church on Sunday, and it got me back with God. You know, I don't know, Mercy Manor, it was a great place for me to be. They played a real big part in my recovery. I attended meetings every day on a daily basis, NA and AA. I built a foundation in fellowship of NA and AA. They got me and kept me on the right track. I just recently graduated about a month ago. They gave me a nice graduation. Go look around. I attended Bible study when I was in Mercy Manor. They helped me manage my money. I'm able to save, and I'm able to have money today, a bank account with actual money in there. They helped me build my relationship with my family. They was able to come and visit me, you know, while I was in Mercy Manor. I have a daughter that I never had a relationship with. And I see her and talk to her every day today. The staff at Mercy Manor was wonderful. Miss Barbara, the director of Mercy Manor, and the staff, they was able to help me with all my needs. I was able to move out, get my own apartment. I was able to seek a job. I got a job today that I like going on. And I also became a manager. I'm truly grateful to be here today. And if it wasn't for God and Mercy Manor, I wouldn't be standing here sharing with you today. They've been a big part of my recovery. And I just want to say I'm truly grateful and thankful to be here. And thank you for allowing me to share.
Miss Geraldine Wood, I would like to say you are one of the most powerful women I have ever met. And in my heart, my mind, and my soul, I salute you today. Now, moving right along, I'm supposed to introduce the introducer. Now, this gentleman that I'm supposed to introduce wouldn't want me to say that he was the director of RTA Community Relations. He definitely wouldn't want me to say that. He would not want me to say that he was the national liaison on the Lesotho Water Highland Project in Africa. Did I say that? He definitely knew that I wouldn't say that he was a board member and is a board member for the Artemis House. He wouldn't want me to call him Dr. anything. He wouldn't want me to tell anybody that he had a PhD. So I didn't tell y'all. But I think he would be okay with me saying that he's a Renaissance man. A man for all seasons. He's a true humanitarian. His love for people reeks from his pores. And he would be okay if I said he's a world-renowned servant of the people. I would like to introduce to some of you, and a lot of you already know him because he's everywhere. Dr. Anthony B. Whitmore.
Praise the Lord, somebody. My energy level's a little low. I had buried one of the few last standing matriarchs of the Whitmore family yesterday, so I promised my sister, Barbara Banner Hudson, that I would be here. So my body is with you, but my mind is a little weak today, and I apologize for that. Now, that young lady, she asked me what would I like her to say about me. And I told her that all she needed to say, that I am a servant of the people. Now, where she got all that other stuff, I don't know, because that did not come from me. But I'm so grateful to be here. Certainly, as always, Dr. Henderson always brings the Lord forth. I saw Mother McGuire, and she doesn't know about what I had been through the last 2 days. But Mother McGuire, thank you. When I see her, I tease Charlotte. Charlotte says, "Oh, you didn't see me." Well, of course I saw my sister Charlotte, but I did see Mother McGuire, who was beyond her, and that was so important. I'd like to thank you, Sister Vanessa Hollins, and certainly Barbara Hudson Banner, who is just a phenomenal lady and leader, and graciousness is all a part of her goodness, and I thank God for you. I'd like to thank the Mercy Manor Board of Trustees, the Mercy Manor honorees this day, and certainly those of you who are here, and in particularly the young ladies who are the beneficiaries of God's gifts at Mercy Manor. You know, it's indeed an honor for me, and I left my glasses somewhere between here and another couple states. So I bought my expensive Dollar Tree glasses on the way. And so the young lady that spoke before us, thank God for you, Miss Woods. I mean, you are amazing. And for the record, sister, growing up in the heart of the ghetto, I know what it's like not to have any money in the bank. So you're not the only one. And I'm living proof that what God has done for me, He'll do for all of you. Ain't nothing special about me. Absolutely. Other than I know from whom my blessings come from. That's what it takes. Knowing what you want, believing that you can change your life, asking God for it, and trusting He'll deliver. That's all. He'll deliver. Now, it's an honor for me to introduce to some of you a gentleman that I have known a very long time. And I can tell you a lot of things about him, and I'm going to let him get me emotional. So I'm not going to look at him. I'm going to look over here. Reverend William C. Roberts II. God has blessed me to do a lot of things. And as I said to you, I'm a product of the urban core, the ghetto. I'm a ghetto boy. My parents had nothing but God. So I'm living proof of people. Yet God has placed me in different parts of the world. Not for me to give, but for me to receive and learn. I thought when I left I was going to give to people. Wasn't that at all? God placed me there for people to give to me, to teach me what I didn't know, what I didn't have. And I'm grateful for that. So I've met a lot of people over the world, but I've met very few like Reverend William C. Roberts. Bill is a licensed independent chemical dependent counselor for the state of Ohio, and certainly on behalf of the Adams Board, we love Bill. Bill runs our program at CADIS. He's not just a person who is over that. Bill is involved in that. Bill understands the struggles. He understands those who are hopeless, those who are seeking God's will and God's change. And he knows firsthand how to make that change. Now, you can read for yourself. I don't like reading to people who can read. So I want to tell you a little bit about my Bill. So the things that you have there. And Pastor Henderson, I was talking to Reverend Dr. Darrell Ward, and I was trying to figure out, now, what do I say? And 2 Corinthians came to me, chapter 4, verse 7. And it speaks of, it says here, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. Now, if I had to say anything about Reverend William Roberts, it would be this verse. Now, Bill, you know firsthand that people can talk about us. They'll even lie about us. They'll try to persecute us. They'll try to do all of those horrific things that the devil would love for them to do. But even the devil, and even them, they can say, they can do, but they can never destroy you when you have the treasure of God, son. Your life has been one of giving, one of commitment. And I thank God, Bill, for being a recipient of your love and your grace that you offer to all who come into the path of your life. You know, the one thing that old non-educated mother of mine was very clear about, that people may not remember what school we attend, Bill. They may not remember those uppity degrees that people get overly impressed about. They may not even remember where we attended school. But the one thing they will remember is how you treat them. And Bill, thank God that you know how to treat God's children. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you my friend, my brother, the Reverend William Roberts.
Those who know me know that I'm a crybaby, so I cry, y'all just ignore it. It's really been a gift of recovery. Thank you, Dr. Whitmore. I am humbled to stand before you. So many of my heroes and sheroes are here today. Those who helped me when I was starting the journey. And I crawled up out of addiction. So I stand on the shoulders of a lot of people in these rooms. And my life has been dedicated to trying to do the things that you all did for me. Because had it not been for you giving to me, I'd have nothing to give. But I found out that through giving is where the blessings come. To Ms. Barbara Hudson Banner, the alumni, current residents, board members, dignitaries, my brothers and sisters in Christ, to the saints, and to the ain'ts. I want to greet you in the matchless name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. I always get nervous when I come into the room and I see those who I've admired for so long, who's been on the ground of this city, who's helped and been involved. And so it's a little intimidating, and I was sitting here getting intimidated and feeling less than, and all of a sudden a bunch of folks who God has used me to help came up and hugged me, and I said, I feel my help coming on. It reminded me that God can use anybody he wants to, even little old me. And so I'm glad that you all taught me to allow him to use me in spite of me. And so I'm going to talk to you just a little while today. Mercy Manor. When I hear mercy, I think about compassion and forgiveness, and it's shown when it could have easily been punishment. Compassion given to those who are undeserving. How many of us are grateful for God's mercy? We ought to just give God a hand praise right now because of his mercy, and we didn't get what we deserved. Sometimes I wonder if it had not been for the Lord on our side, where in the world would we be? I'm a big fan of Mercy Manor, and I'm a big believer in redemption. Most of my life is spent assuring people that those who may look helpless aren't helpless. And given the right motivation and circumstances, God can turn a nobody into a somebody. And things that we have cast out still have value. Hi, Jane Benner. Excuse me. Oh, my God. It's only because of places like Mercy Manor who looked beyond the faults of those who had fallen on hard times and not only extended mercy but acted as the Good Samaritan and took us in, kept us nurtured, and loved us until we felt lovable. It was like a kiss from God. Mercy Manor, as a result, you've helped to break generational curses. You've helped to create altruistic beings who spend their lives now giving back the love and care that was so freely given to them. You truly make a difference in transforming lives and communities. You see, the lives you have touched and those who received the message that you intended to send have gone on over the years and transmitted that love to so many others, some whose paths they crossed. Some who came to Mercy Manor, and many who didn't. You see, you started a communicable cure for those who have been lost, for the prodigal children who found themselves in the pigsties of life. For not only did these women find relief, they found a cure. The love of Jesus Christ personified. They've taken this love and started a commission of their own, helping others to get free from the horrors of addiction and sharing about a saving grace they found through Jesus Christ. You heard the testimony right up here today. The love of Jesus that you instilled or either reawoken or uncovered in people like these ladies and myself. You see, in 1992, when the doors of Mercy Manor opened, I was early on in my recovery. I was working at a local jail in a treatment program. And God's so good, he let me go back to a jail I used to be locked up in to work in a program. And while we were working, we met a lady named Sister Donna.
Yeah.
Who had a fire about herself and a zest for life. And she told us about Mercy Manor. Now, in this jail setting, we had a few people that we would call repeat offenders. Let me explain something to those of you who may not understand. We don't always get this on the first time. Some of us could be considered backsliders. And so they would show up continuously. Now you have to understand the mindset of those who don't understand addiction. Because when I got back to the jail, the first thing I ran into was a guard who remembered me when I was one of his guests. And the first thing he told me was, you know, that recovery stuff don't work. And I thought to myself, should I respond? And then it dawned on me that the reason he believed recovery didn't work is because the only people he used to see was those who didn't get it. Now I'm saying to myself, if it don't work, trust me, I don't be back in this capacity. But what I did, rather than talk it, I said, we can show him. And we started an alumni group, and he got to see. When I left that jail, he was one of our biggest fans. But those ladies, they would finish our program, and we knew they needed something else. Won't God be a waymaker? Mercy Manor came into existence, and they took several of those ladies. Now let me tell you, the ladies they took, you know how sometimes as humans, we really count them out? Say, Lord, we done done all we can do. This is yours. Well, but they went to Mercy Manor. They still going to this day. My boss and I used to say something special happens at Mercy Manor. Because those women had been through every program around this city. But when they got there, see, I used to wonder what it was, but now I understand how God works. Over the years, whenever available, we would always refer to Mercy Manor. Many of those ladies who came up, it's been fun watching their recovery, but more importantly, watching the transformation in their lives. Watching the transformation in their children's lives. See, you understand that when you impact these mothers, you impact the community, because when they change, the children change. And when the children change, the cycle is broken. So children who used to be on a pipeline to prison are now on a pipeline to college. Children who were abandoned are now learning to raise their children and be involved in the lives of their community. Women who were once a terror to the community are now repairing the community. Oh, we call on them all the time, and they're there with a zest. They're there to help. They don't want any money. All they want to do is be of service to God, the highest calling that one can have. I want to commend the officers of Church Women United, Sister Joan Brown and Dr. Charles Brown. And you all allowing God to use you as his arms, as his legs, and more importantly, as his arm, to show love that a lot of people didn't understand existed. Those women were coming from prison. Those women had been beaten up. Many of them had given up. Oh, but God used you to show up. And not only did you show up, you showed out. And so we thank Miss Hudson Banner and her crew I personally want to say thank you to Glenda, because I've been watching her run for years. Ever since she hit the ground, she used to have that van on the road, and if we had a function, she'd say, don't beat me there, we'll be there. You see, you all have a coalition. Oh, trust me, you've been abolitionists. Because you've truly led people out of slavery. Amen. And given them another opportunity at life. And if you ever been dead, y'all heard that movie, The Walking Dead? Some of us know exactly what that term means, and to get a second chance at life. We feel as if we owe a debt we could never repay. And so we hope that our gratitude speaks when we share and we care and we give back. See, it's one thing to get saved. It's another thing to get saved and know who saved you and know that you owe, and you could never, ever give enough. To those who was once lost and is now found. Thank God. To you ladies who have continued to make a difference. And I'm going to say this especially in the recovery community. And many of you have been bridges. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Some of them were members of my church. We got clean. Who'd have thought I'd be a preacher? But God, I salute you. And I thank God for you. And keep shining. Because like they told me, one day somebody just like you were, I'm going to need to hear your message. And that we would be uniquely qualified to touch somebody. So don't you disqualify yourself from God's work. And don't you measure your insides with everybody else's outside. You are a child of God, and you are wonderfully and perfectly made. And don't you ever surrender to that devil again. Getting off the drugs is the start. But once you're off, I want to offer you this. In Romans 12, he said, therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. His good and pleasing and perfect will. You will help people find God's perfect will for their lives. And there's no more noble mission than helping others who were on a pathway to destruction to reverse direction and find a saving grace. Thank you, Mercy Manor, for the mercy you have given. You have blessed so many people. God bless you all.
That was an awesome keynote address. And an awesome person delivering the keynote address. Okay, we're coming down the runway. We now have the Sister Jean Fope RSM Visionary Award. Now you guys know who Sister Jean Fope was. Okay. And for those of you who don't, I'm just going to give you a little information. If you guys, have you guys ever watched the Golden Girls? Well, every time Estelle Getty got ready to tell a story, she said, picture this. So what I want you guys to do for me is to picture this. Here's a chaplain at the Montgomery County Jail. Day in, day out, she encounters women, prisoners, that people think are worthless, that people don't have any relatives, nobody that loves them, that people don't have any visitors. These are prisoners. They're nothing. They're doing some time, and they'll be back. But she's looking at their core. She sees their core. Anybody ever heard the story of Walt Disney? He never saw Disneyland. He just dreamed it. He sat on a bench and he dreamed it. And he had other people put it into what? Fruition. She saw these women and she knew at their core that they were perfect specimens. Just like you and I. As perfect as the Lord will allow you to be. That was them. And she said they need help. And I can help them. So she figured out a plan. Then she told some more women. And they figured out a plan. And she said they need somewhere to go when they leave here that will help them. And they came up with the first tactic. They called it a dream house. We need a dream house for them to go to. So they worked on that. And as they got closer and closer and closer, that dream house became Mercy Manor. Now Mercy Manor could only house so many women. I think it was 12 at first. And they can house far more now. And after you all go in your purses and wallets and pockets today, they're going to be able to house more than what they currently house. But that's a little background on the sister who dreamed it. She was a visionary. So we're going to do her award first. And I'm going to tell you who the recipients of the awards are. And I haven't read this much information since I was in 8th grade. Oh, thank you, Lord. They're going to do the film. Is that right? Right now? Oh. Okay, this is to the awardees. I'm going to sit down and look over all this stuff I got to read, and I'll be back. We're going to pay attention to this now, Barbara? Okay, show everyone, they want you to pay attention to the video. It's a special video they put together for the awardees. It's here to your left.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. Thank you so much for the invitation to join you for the 26th Annual Founders Day Luncheon. Unfortunately, my Washington schedule conflicts with today's event. However, I want to add my voice to all those celebrating the life-changing work of Mercy Manor. For 2 decades and counting, Mercy Manor has been transforming the lives of women, helping them on the journey to recovery in body, mind, and spirit. I know this firsthand because I have seen Mercy Manor's positive impact going back to when I was county administrator for Montgomery County's Human Services and secured the very first government grant to support your important ongoing work. Mercy Manor's track record of success speaks for itself. Look at the audience today. From moving more women to permanent housing and finding employment to helping women stay clean and sober. This success is in no small part a result of Mercy Manor's tremendous leadership. So I want to thank and recognize Luncheon Chair, Reverend Charles Brown Jr., my good friend, the entire board of directors, including President Sandra Colley. Thank you, Sandra, for the invitation as well. And Vice President Joan Brown. Joan, we've come a long way. Executive Director Barbara Hudson Banner, and all the staff for their hard work, and Mercy Manor's friends for their support, including my mother, who's in the audience today, as well as Pastor P.E. Henderson Jr. In that same spirit, I also want to salute today's honorees. The honorees of the Sister Jean Fopp Visionary Award, the Special Community Service Award recipients, and the Special Leadership Community Service awardees. All people, I say, job well done. And thank you to my lifelong friend, First Lady Charlotte McGuire, for all of your work. Because of their selfless service and sacrifice, more women are receiving the support and assistance they need to live drug and alcohol free. Yes, Mercy Manor has done amazing work, and that is why we are all here to celebrate today. Again, thank you for your enduring commitment to our community as a place of hope for women broken from addiction. I am Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, and I approve this message.
Okay, we're back with our first honoree, Reverend Marla Ellifritz Brown. Reverend Marla Ellifritz Brown is an elder of the West Ohio Conference United Methodist Church. She has served over the last 30 years as pastor of Inglewood UMC, Fairview UMC, Dayton and Grace UMC, Dayton. She was also appointed to serve as the Director of Church and Community Ministries, Miami Valley United Methodist Mission. In 2008, she was appointed as the District Superintendent of the Maumee Watershed District. It has been her privilege to serve as Superintendent of the 107 United Methodist congregations located within the 6 counties surrounding Toledo. She is passionate about assisting pastors and congregations in making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. She retired from active ministry in 2014. In retirement, she serves as pastor of Scott Trinity United Methodist Church, Rising Sun, Ohio, and Union United Methodist Church, Fosteria, Ohio. Reverend Brown is currently serving as the second vice president of the United Theological Board of Trustees. Reverend Brown is a graduate of Wright State University with a BA in Political Science and a Master's of Business Administration in Management, a Master's of Divinity from United Theological Seminary, Dayton, Ohio. A native of Miami County, Ohio, Reverend Brown is married to Lynn Brown and is the mother of Tammy, Stephen, David, Matthew, Alicia, and Philip. She is the joyous grandmother, Mimi, of Robert, Hannah, Madison, Haley, Braden, Nathan, Jenna, Evan, Tate, Caleb, Ethan, Cameron, and Mason. Woo! She has a BA in Political Science from Wright State. You sure? Because I'll read it. Okay, we're going to welcome her. She says that's enough. Give her a rousing round of applause. Please.
Good afternoon. I just want to say just a couple of things. First of all, that eye has not seen or ear heard what God has in store for those who love Him. And I just, in the early 1990s, we were part of a team of Church Women United. They told me if you chair this little committee, ecumenical actions, you wouldn't have to do very much. Well, soon Joan Brown came to us, guess what? The national organization wants each unit to develop a project where we can reach out and touch the community. So we had all these little projects, and they came in and they talked to us, and then Sister Jean came, and the Spirit moved, and that was it. We could do nothing else. So I'm humbled to be a part of that, and I praise God for the ministry that continues and the lives that are changed in the name of Jesus. Thank you so much.
We have Lady Charlotte D. McGuire. All right, tell me when to stop. Because I got to read some of it. So it's like pouring water. When you think it's enough, say stop right there. Okay. Charlotte D. McGuire is a passionate, tenacious, advocate, and committed executive. Born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee during the segregation era. Charlotte's parents always told her, education is the key. I gotta find it. To your freedom and independence. The first college graduate in her family, she received her Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration from Central State University, Wilberforce, Ohio. With over 40 years of government and nonprofit leadership experience, Charlotte has worked together with others to enrich the lives of the elderly, youth, and families. Formerly, she was Director of Community Affairs, City of Dayton, President, CEO, Senior Citizen Center of Greater Dayton, President, CEO, Project Impact, I'm finishing this paragraph, Project Impact Dayton, and Project Director for Reclaiming Futures, Montgomery County Juvenile Court. Now an entrepreneur, she consults for strategic planning, community engagement, and life coaching. I give you Lady Charlotte D. McGuire.
One of my mother's favorite sayings that has always guided my work in the community was from one of her favorite Christian songs. If I could help somebody as I pass along, if I could cheer somebody with a word or song, if I could show somebody that he is traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. If I can do my duty as a Christian aunt, if I can bring back beauty to a world of wrong, if I can spread love's message as the Master taught, then my living will not be in vain. I want to thank you for this visionary award. I was just one of those community people saying, we can add value, we can empower, We can make it happen. We can challenge the status quo. We can challenge the powers to be. We can impact funding decisions because everyone has a right to succeed. Your past doesn't define you. Your assessment doesn't define you. What people say about you does not define you. Who you are is within, and our job as a community, as people, is to tap that God capacity within every individual of every walk of life. People have to believe that they can. But God said from the very beginning, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And so it's in your core. It's who you are. Do not suppress it. Release it. And become who you are destined to be. All the women, all of us in here, have an imprint we were created to leave on society. I can't leave your imprint. I can't leave your imprint. I can't leave your imprint. And neither can any of you leave my imprint. But when we purpose to esteem others higher than ourselves, when we purpose to look on the interests of others more than ourselves, we can leave an imprint. An imprint that will transform within, that will bring the wealth without. I want to thank you for this award. When they called me about it, I said, what did I do? I don't remember that. But it's never about yourself. Your good works will follow you. So I want to thank the board, the executive director, and the staff. I want to thank the Church Women United. I remember when. But most of all, I want to thank God for cultivating in me a heart of love. Love covers. Love will endure. Love will believe. Love will hope. Love will not puff itself up. And love will last forever. Thank you so much.
Okay. Our next honoree, it's my understanding it's her brother's going to stand in for her, Dr. Pauline N. Puckett. Her nephew. Her nephew with a great laugh. Dr. Pauline N. Puckett is a native Daytonian and a product of the Dayton Public School System, graduating from Paul Laurence Dunbar High School in 1946. She received a B.S. in elementary education from Miami University of Ohio in 1966. A master's in education from Wright State University, a M.A. in religious education 1985, and a Doctor of Ministry degree in 1995, both from United Theological Seminary in Dayton. Dr. Puckett was employed in personnel and payroll at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for 33 years. From 1970 to 1974, she also worked for the state of Ohio, Department of Education as a character instructor in the adult basic education program. She served as a field ministry supervisor and facilitator in the Department of Contextual Education of Supervised Ministry at United Theological Seminary, retiring after 19 years. Simultaneously, from 1990 to 2016, she served as a coordinator for the Payne Lake School of Theology in the greater Dayton area, a 2-year certificate program for lay people, Payne Theological Seminary in Wilberforce, Ohio. Here to accept this on her behalf, and I do know that she's here, is her nephew, Dwayne.
I'll call ladies, I'm feeling well, she's here. I don't think I can really just accept this award by myself, because all of us came from God knows where to be here, and I want all of us to come up and take a picture for this award. Come on up. Dallas, Texas. Oh, where's Patrick?
Okay, due to time constraints, thank God, we won't be reading all of the bios. Yes. Okay, we're going to read a little bit of it. We're going to call you up, and then we're going to keep it moving. Now, is it Joan Brown? She's not here. And she is a recipient of the award, but her bio is in your book. So when you get an opportunity, please read her bio. And you guys are going to get her award to her, correct? Okay. Okay, the next group of honorees, Church Women United in Greater Dayton. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of this. Women of a diverse spectrum of denominations and faiths in Dayton joined together for ministry in 1911. We officially became known as Church Women United CWU in Greater Dayton in 1941. Show me that. Show me one more time. Okay, she showed me what they want you to know. In 1986, a national CWU imperative was conceived. Each local unit was to consider the pauperization of women and children and commit to a ministry. A task force was organized in CWU Dayton and May 1987 to May 1992, and the idea for Dream House began in January 1988. Sister Jean, a CWU member who worked with jail ministries, suggested we begin transitional housing for 5 or 6 women coming out of prison or jail. In a family-like environment, counseling, job training, etc. would be provided while the women worked on changing their lifestyles. Beginning in October 1988, the Dream House Task Force planned for grants, gained church support, found a house, and oversaw so many details. Under the leadership of our President, Charlotte Leisure, Vice President, Joan Brown, task force members, and many others, Mercy Manor became incorporated April 11th, 1991, The first house was opened in 1992.
It is my honor to accept this on behalf of so many women. If you are a member of Church Women United, or have been, please stand. Thank you, ladies. It's because of their devotion to Christ and their desire to serve that we began this project. I would like to introduce those. It mentioned that this started under the leadership of the president. And I just, Charlotte Lee, who is my guest today. Charlotte, would you stand? She was the president, and Joan Brown was vice president when we began our Dream House vision. Also, the trustees who began the task force were Reverend Marla Rudisol, which I guess is Reverend Marla, who you just heard, same lady. She was on the task force. Sister Jean Fope. Pauline Puckett, who you just heard about, was on that task force. There she is. Sophia Woodson, Reverend Karen Scheffler, and Joan Brown. So those were the first ladies to get it started. The other thing I wanted to is through the years we've had quite. If you were a past president anytime during this, would you please stand? There's a lot of you that have kept it going, so please stand. Pam, you too. Thank you very much. And right next to our page, one of the volunteers who started so long ago has written a poem, which I hope you will read and enjoy her poem. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll have honorees, and they are the recipients of the Special Community Service Award. That's Donald L. Is it Hayashi? Good for me. And Deborah Dunlap Hayashi. I'll give you a little blurb about them, and then I'll let them tell you what they want you to know. Okay. Deb and Don met in 1970 when she was a high school senior. 17. And he was the newly hired youth director at her home church in Portland, Oregon. Their common interest in serving Christ through community service was immediately evident. Who would have imagined that 48 years later, this shared passion would include 44 years of marriage, one beautiful daughter, Sarah, and a professional and volunteer jobs in Oregon, California, and Ohio. Together, they encourage all persons to work for its peace, justice, equality, and environmental preservation. Give them a round of applause.
I just want to say thank you for this honor. And I think there are many ways that we can contribute to Mercy Manor. One, by just talking with our friends. we have a gather in our house on New Year's Day, and each year we get all kinds of things brought that we really don't need. And so a few years ago, we said to folk, why don't you bring paper goods that we could give to Mercy Manor, or canned goods that could be given to Wesley? Do you know that each year since then, it's taken at least 2 carloads to get all the donations down to the 2 charitable organizations? But in addition to the goods, it's helping folks understand this ministry. And the more we can do to amplify it, praise be to God.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you, especially to express our appreciation to the Mercy Manor Board of Directors, past and present, for including us amongst your leadership and for recognizing us today. We thank the Mercy Manor Executive Directors, past and present, as well as the staff, for repeatedly going the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th miles for those that you serve. I personally have a special shout out to some women's organizations who have set the pace for me. Church Women United, Sisters of the Precious Blood, and my own United Methodist Women. Similarly, Dawn and I want to thank so many who are part of the United Methodist Church who have encouraged us over the years, right back to when we met, when I was 17. We especially want to thank our friends from Silver Grove who are going out of their way to be here today. To those of you who consider yourselves our friends or extended family, God bless you. We would not be able to survive in Dayton, Ohio without you. Finally, we appreciate everyone in this room as each of you expresses your love for God and for Jesus Christ merely by your presence here. For your love for Mercy Manor, may the graduates and residents of this program experience that transforming love. Because honestly, we are all on a resurrection journey of recovery. Amen.
Our last recipient and honoree, Mr. Ronald Cothran. Ron Cothran is the immediate past president of the Board of Mercy Manor. All right then. I bring you Mr. Ronald Cothran.
Let the church say amen. Because we had church up in here already. And the thing is, again, you know, I drove 15 hours to get here. Just got here last night. And we'll be leaving tomorrow morning. But you know, I wouldn't miss this opportunity for all the money in the world. You know why? Because every time I look, I think about those ladies, I say, your grace and your mercy. That's the only reason I stand here today. Okay? Because I know it. And because I've been so good. Okay? Trust me. But the thing is, again, we're here to definitely celebrate with the ladies here and the Mercy Manor House. Most of all, like I said, I look around, I see so many familiar faces. You all save me so much time, not having to go knock on your doors and call you and things of this nature. But I really have to recognize the people that I formerly worked with. Mercy Manor. I mean, listen to me, Mercy Manor. Mount Spring Academy. Look, I forgot where I even worked at. Okay, so right now, I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, enjoying myself, taking care of my 90-year-old mother. I'm not working, but you know what? God is so good. And I ask you all to pray for me as I get on that highway tomorrow. I'm taking care of my 90-year-old mother, and I'm taking care of my 16-year-old grandson. Woo! Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But before I leave that, what about Red? Before I leave here, because you know I'm sleeping right about now. Okay. I wasn't sleeping this morning, but I want to just, I got my checkbook. You know I got my checkbook. I told you God been good to me. So I just want to recognize and I thank those that continue to serve on this board. And I request to some of you all that are not actively involved with Mercy Manor, please do. Because I guarantee you, if you just stop and think for one moment, every one of us could have been standing up here telling that story. And I guarantee you there's not a family in this room that's not untouched by what's going on in those streets. But the thing is, again, I share with you His grace and His mercy. Okay? And a little bit of knocking you down to your knees. You know, it's called humility. That's why we are able to sit here instead of being behind somebody's bar today. Thank you very much.
Give all the honorees a round of applause. And the photographer is asking all of the honorees to assemble here, and he would like to have your photo. And while that's going on, I know that we can multitask. So, I want you guys to listen to me, because I'm getting sleepy. Okay, we're going to have a testimonial by a Mercy Manor resident. Following that, we're going to have a special appeal by Ms. Sophia Johnson. And then, presentation of raffle prizes, Mrs. Sherry J. Walton. We got that? All right. Testimonial.
Hi everyone, my name is Milton and I am an addict. I'm currently a resident at Mercy Manor, and I'm going to share with you all what it was like for me before I got to Mercy Manor. I've done drugs probably my whole life. Today I understand that I was an addict long before I even picked up drugs. And it feels good to be able to say that I'm an addict because this time last year I didn't know what I was. I didn't know that addiction was a spiritual disease. When I got to Mercy Manor, I was beat. My spirit was broken. I was hopeless. I didn't think I mattered. I was operating out of fear. I just didn't even think I was worth it, and I thought I had no business praying to God because of the things that I've done. Today I can say I'm an addict, and I'm glad to be able to say that. I'm going to share my last using date. The last time I used was in April. And I had been using that I had to pick my own clean date, and I picked March 1st because I know I had used drugs in March. My last use date, I can remember being in a crack house. I had pneumonia, I had asthma, and I had upper respiratory infection. I was smoking crack, I couldn't breathe. Every time I hit the pipe, I hit my breathing treatment. And I couldn't even suck the air in. I remember smoking because I had drugs and I continued to smoke. I could not stop. I remember laying here and thinking that I was going to die right there. And I remember asking God to help me. By the grace of God, I ended up in jail the next day. And I truly believe God did for me what I couldn't do.
That's right.
That's right. I never thought I was an addict. This is my second round in Mercy Manor. The difference between now and then is that today I want this. I didn't think I was like anybody else. I thought I was special. But today I know that I'm not. I didn't like women, didn't trust them. When I say I was broken, I was broken. Today I love women. Being in Mercy Manor has taught me how to live, how to build new relationships, reconnect with my family. I have 15 grandchildren. Today I'm able to be a grandma. Since I've been at Mercy Manor, I've accomplished so much. I graduated the Navy Cooks program, and I'm cooking. I've had a sponsor, but I didn't utilize her. I got a sponsor today. Oh wow, I have the women in NA, Miss Felicia and them, they are all like, they support the women in Mercy Manor. I don't do old people or places because today we have nothing in common.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. It's just amazing. It's amazing. Since I've been in Mercy Manor, I found out that I have some mental issues. I'm not crazy, I just need a little help. Because of Mercy Manor, sometimes I tell them I ain't taking that medicine. I'm not taking that medicine today. They're like, you gonna take that medicine? I was off the chain. I'm just grateful that they didn't kick me up out of there. Because I fought them tooth and nail about everything. Everything. Today I know how to surrender. That I know I don't have to fight no more. I don't have to have the last word. I just let it go. It's like, okay, whatever. And I just do it. You know, when they say, I talk to them about everything concerning me. If I'm going to make some decisions or I want to do something, I take it to Miss Barbara, I take it to the staff. And sometimes I don't like what they say, you know, but when I think about it, they tell me something that's helpful for me, and I just do it. You know, in the rooms of narcotics, they say if you want what we got, you got to do what we do. So I have to be able to take some suggestions, and I'm all open for suggestions today. I get blessed out sometimes. I don't even get mad. I might be a little bruised, but I receive it. You know, I don't think I know everything. I ask a lot of questions. I do. Man, if it wasn't for Mercy Manor, and Mercy Manor is my foundation. Man, I've learned how to set boundaries. I've learned how to tell people no. I don't have to be around people I don't like for them. And it's just, you know, it was a time couldn't speak up for myself. You know, just allowing people to do to me what they want, treat me any kind of way, talk to me any kind of way. I don't do that today.
That's right.
You know, I know how to tell people to back up. I don't want to hear that, or we ain't got nothing to talk about. I can do that today, and it feels good to be able to stand up for myself. Mercy Manor has given me my life back.
Yes, yes, yes.
We praise God, and I love the Lord.
Yes.
Yes, I'm the same person that wouldn't pray, because I didn't think I was worthy. But I pray today. I pray today. I talk to God every day, all day. I talk to God and I thank Him. And I've asked God, Lord, please put people in my life that are for you. And He has done it. My job is, I got women of God. I work with women of God. I'm in here with a lot of people of God.
Yes.
I love my job and I love the people I work with, and I love the women in Mercy Manor, the staff. You know, I mean, it's just amazing. You know, they say be careful what you ask for. And I got everything I've asked God for, He has done.
That's right.
Everything. It may not be my way, but it has happened. And He shows me every day in His Word that He's talking to me. He showed me today through Miss Charlotte, because I was nervous about coming up here. He showed me today that He is right here with me.
Yes.
And I thank God. I thank God. I thank God for you, Miss Barbara. I thank God for you, Miss Cecilia, and Karen, and Miss Linda. I love y'all.
Love you too.
And the women in Mercy Manor are my family. They are my extended family,
That's
along
right.
with my own, and I'm just gonna try to stay close. I ain't going nowhere no time soon. Ain't no exit day. Thank God for that. A friend of mine keeps telling me, you in jail. You in jail. I say, I'm not in jail. I can leave Mercy Manor whenever I want to. But I choose not to. I choose not to, because I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And when it's time for me to go, God show me. I'm not in no rush. You know, I'm learning about me, and I love you today. Miss Franklin, I love you. Thank you.
Can we please give Militant and all of the wonderful residents their beautiful testimonies? And you know something? We agree with Militant. Now, we're not crazy. We just need a little help financially, so just give me a few more minutes and I promise we'll have you out of here. What I'd like to ask you today is, how do you explain when things don't always go as we assume? Or better yet, how do you explain why some people never, ever have to encounter certain things in life? Why is it that they seem to have something different? You know, these questions and a few other questions were asked by some of the residents of Mercy Manor recently when we had the opportunity to tour the house. And you know, we listened to all of the ladies share with us how very grateful they were to have Mercy Manor and how they felt that it truly changed their lives. Over the Christmas holiday, the board had a real encounter experience with the residents of Mercy Manor. The board had the opportunity to give them something they really wanted. You remember the days of Christmas when you got that one thing under the tree that you really wanted. Well, one unique gift that they all received from the board was a scarf. Now to us, it was just our way of demonstrating our love in the form of a scarf. Something they all could get, uniquely made, but the gift of giving was the same. Why? because it came from the soul. Little did we know at the time that these mere scarves did such impact in their lives. We viewed it as a way of just showing our appreciation to them. But you see, it wasn't the expense of the scarf at all. It was how much love that was put into the giving of the scarf that made the impact. You know, some years ago, there was a book that I read by Gary Zukav entitled The Seat of the Soul. And I see some of you nodding your head. You must have read that book as well. But in that book, Gary clearly defined what was true, authentic power. The kind of power that can never, ever be taken away from you. You know, not your looks, not your clothes, not your fortune, not your mansion, not your fame, and yes, not even your money. But rather your authentic power that each of your personalities comes to serve to the energy of the soul. When you align who you are with what you give to the world and it serves others, then you are making an authentic choice to love, as it was mentioned earlier, to respond, and to give. So today I ask you, what's your scarf? How will you show your authentic power to love, to respond, and to give? In front of you, there are pink envelopes, and we ask that each one of you would please take the time to fill those out. We need those. We need you. And today, we respond by honoring and thanking all of you for being here today. Our donors, our supporters, our partners, and all of our friends. Your donations have both been immediate and lasting impressions. Thanks to you, so many women, as you have heard today, have transitioned out of this program at Mercy Manor and have become productive citizens in this community. Yet there are others who are recovering remarkably and are moving well through the program, but are not yet at the end of their journey. They need you. We need you. They need three things. They need hope, connection, and purpose. And with your support financially today and in the days ahead, they can get all of that at Mercy Manor. And we, as a board, as a committee, can continue this mission and provide the transformation that they need to be productive citizens in our society. You've heard the testimonies of their purposefulness and determination. I just ask you today, please let it touch your heart. Words have power. Words can be your power. Your giving today can demonstrate that. You can change a life, inspire a nation, and make this world, this great city of Dayton, a more beautiful place. And yes, marking on your pink pledge cards today, or your decision today to just write a check, will absolutely mend a broken soul. Know at Mercy Manor that needs are being met, problems are being solved, lives are being changed, and God is all in it. It is our belief that everyone in this room can make a difference with what you can give individually. Every dollar counts, from $1 to $1 million. In closing, our prayer today is that each and every dear one of you will choose your scarf. So just tap your neighbor right now and say, choose your scarf, choose your scarf, choose your scarf. As you elect to choose your scarf today, please know whatever you can do, small or large, that your impact and your legacy will live beyond your giving. So if you like the work we do, and you are inspired by the values that drive our work, I strongly urge you to consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Mercy Manor. Thanks for coming, and thank you so much for giving.
I hope everybody that wanted a ticket, a raffle ticket, got a ticket. I hope everybody that wanted a 50-50 raffle ticket, got a ticket.
No.
Okay.
We'd just like to thank everyone for coming out, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you enjoyed the food, and we look forward to seeing you next year. And now we will have the benediction of Reverend Father Benjamin Spear Harden II.
For those who are able, please stand for the benediction. Accept, O Lord, our thanks and praise for your mercy. May the peace of God which passeth all understanding keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God and of his Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. May God, our Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, rest and abide with you now and forever. Amen. Amen.